Throughout the centuries, adventurers have traveled to South America in the hopes of discovering long-lost cities that are rumored to be filled with gold. The hazy accounts of returning missionaries, the local indigenous tales, the rumors that were traded at remote inns, and the lost documents that were buried in dusty archives all contributed to the creation of an entire body of legends, which were fables of the lost cities of the South American jungle. But are they nothing more than urban legends? Many people were under the impression that the golden ruins could be found somewhere in the world. Before we continue, subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. The search for gold, whether it be fictitious or genuine, has been the impetus for a great number of historical expeditions. Some examples of this include the California Gold Rush and the hunt for Captain Kidd's lost treasure. The pursuit of El Dorado is not an exception to this rule. Even though it has never been located, there have been persistent rumors circulating for centuries about a famous lost city of gold. These rumors were so pervasive that at one point in time, the city was even shown on maps. The Muisca tribe, also known as the Chibcha tribe, has been present in central Colombia since the 9th century. The name El Dorado translates to the Golden One in Spanish, and its origins may be traced back to this indigenous group. The Golden One was not a city but rather a man for the Muisca tribe. More particularly, it was the chief of the tribe. During the initiation process, the new chief would be covered in gold dust and then transported out on a raft to the middle of Lake Guatavita. Once there, he would cast valuable gems and gold into the lake as a tribute to the gods. After this, he would be crowned as the chief of the tribe. According to certain interpretations of the ceremony, the chief really immersed himself in the lake to rid himself of the gold dust and continue the ritual. After hearing stories of the initiation upon their arrival in the 16th century, Spanish explorers began to refer to the tribal chief as El Dorado. These stories were passed down from generation to generation. At that point, the practice was no longer being carried out, but because the Europeans had already found so much gold in the hands of the Incas and the Aztecs, they thought the Chibcha tribe was keeping a significant treasure hidden from them. They even tried to drain Lake Guatavita in 1545 in an effort to get to the treasure, and while they did recover a substantial amount of gold, they felt that it was only a small portion of the actual wealth that was lying at the depths of the lake. As a direct consequence of this, El Dorado eventually became synonymous with the concept of a secret city filled with gold. In the following 2 centuries, a large number of European explorers would make their way to the New Globe in the hopes of discovering El Dorado. The most well-known of these individuals was an English courtier named Sir Walter Raleigh, who pursued the search for the lost city on 2 separate occasions. In the latter half of the 16th century, the very first expedition set sail. In the year 1584, Raleigh had taken prisoner a Spanish explorer by the name of Pedro Sarmiento de Gamboa. Gamboa informed Raleigh of the rumored existence of the city, which prompted Raleigh to make plans for an expedition that would begin 11 years later. Raleigh was successful in reaching Trinidad, where he met an adventurer by the name of Antonio de Berrio. De Berrio informed Raleigh that El Dorado could be found in the region that is now known as Venezuela. Unfortuitously, the attempt that Raleigh made to journey there was thwarted by the stormy weather, and he was forced to turn around and head back. In the year 1596, Sir Walter Raleigh dispatched one of his lieutenants, named Lawrence Keymis, to explore Venezuela in search of additional information of El Dorado. According to Keymis, the location of the city was close to a significant body of water known as Lake Parim. Raleigh released 2 volumes that were based on the report that was provided by Keymis. These publications were titled The Discovery of the Large, Rich, and Beautiful Empire of Guyana, 1596, and The Discovery of Guyana, and the Journal of the Second Voyage thereto, 1606. As a direct result of reading these books, Lake Parim and El Dorado started to appear on maps of England, with their respective locations falling somewhere within the heart of the Guianas. In 1617, Sir Walter Raleigh embarked on a second expedition to South America in pursuit of the legendary city of El Dorado. The rest of the expedition, including his son Raleigh and Lawrence Keymis, went up the Orinoco River while he was only able to journey as far as the island of Trinidad because of his elderly age. Raleigh was put to death in the subsequent conflict after the expedition successfully invaded a Spanish territory. Keymis traveled back to Trinidad in order to bring the bad news to Sir Walter Raleigh, but Raleigh would not forgive him. Therefore Keymis took his own life after Raleigh's refusal. After the expedition's successful completion, Raleigh was tried and sentenced to death in England on the grounds that it had violated a pact by engaging in combat with the Spanish. Both El Dorado and Lake Perim progressively disappeared from maps as researchers were unable to locate any evidence that could definitively prove their existence. Alexander von Humboldt, a German explorer who traveled throughout South America in the 19th century, provided an explanation for the so-called existence of Lake Perim by stating that it was merely the result of river flooding during the rainy season. However, in the 1970s, an explorer by the name of Roland Stevenson found an extinct lake not too far away from the Guianas at the location where it was once believed that Lake Perim once existed. Even in the 21st century, people have not given up on the idea of finding El Dorado. The monastery of Santo Domingo launched an effort in the year 2000, using radar to investigate the possibility of a massive tunnel running beneath the monastery. In the year 2001, what are thought to be the ruins of an ancient civilization were found in the Paratori region of Peru. However, the topography of the region makes it challenging to study. The hope of finding El Dorado, the city of gold, is by no means extinguished, despite the fact that it is highly improbable that it will appear on maps created in more recent times. Conclusion: El Dorado is without a doubt the most well-known myth regarding a misplaced city of gold, and its name has almost come to be synonymous with an idealistic search for wealth, as well as a short-lived British soap opera from the 1990s. Hernán Cortés, a Spanish conquistador who lived from 1485 to 1547, brought news to Spain in 1520 that the riches of the New World could be found there. Cortés was famously showered with lavish gold gifts by Moctezuma II, the Emperor of Aztec, during the years 1466-1520. The death of the emperor occurred not long after that, and on August 13, 1521, the Spanish successfully completed their conquest of the Aztec Empire. It was a brutal and devastating time for the indigenous people of the Americas, as European colonizers were all convinced that there was an indigenous tribe hiding heaps of gems and precious metals behind every mountain. During this time, European colonizers were all convinced. The legend of El Dorado served as a metaphor for the mystical yet perilous events that occurred during the gold rush. So what do you think of this lost city of gold? Share with us in the comments and subscribe to our channel for more. Thanks for watching.